everybody, welcome to the Son of Wanda. Today I'll be reviewing She-Hulk Attorney-at-Law, Episode 6. Guys, I can't put on a facade. I can't keep masquerading as if this wasn't one of the worst things I've ever seen in my life. I would love to be able to tell you it was a great episode and that it warmed my heart in some way, but it dashed my hopes and dreams upon the rocks. It tortured my soul, ripped out my spirit, and then ate it mercilessly. Anyway, let's review it. So, okay, so you know how at the end of the last episode, Daredevil was teased? You know, his helmet was like in the box, and we're all like, yeah, that's Daredevil's helmet. He's gonna be in the next episode for sure. He's gonna be in it. It's gonna be awesome. Hopefully. I was concerned, I was really concerned because they hadn't had the best track record with their cameos so far, and I really hoped that, Daredevil will be treated well. Well, I suppose on the bright side, my concerns were held at bay because he's not in it. He's not in it. They teased him at the end of the last episode. They even teased She-Hulk's superhero suit. Do either of those show up? No. No, they don't. You know what does show up? You know what does, is the main premise of the episode. So exciting, right? She-Hulk gets to be a bridesmaid. I swear, 5 years ago, I woke up one morning and I thought to myself, I was like, gosh, I just have this inclination, this deep desire, all of a sudden. I just need to see a whole episode of a TV show devoted to She-Hulk being a bridesmaid and being picked on the whole time. I just need to see it. It will fulfill a hole in my heart of not having it. It will fill that cavity in my soul. Ever since then, I can't believe that the episode is so horrible. Oh my gosh. Anyway, it starts off with Jennifer getting the box, I guess, gift box or whatever, saying, does someone want to be my bridesmaid? Duh, of course you do. And it's an old friend of her, Jennifer's from high school, who I guess they grew apart. She said they grew apart after a while. Her name is Lulu, and she wants Jen to be one of her bridesmaids. Meanwhile, her best friend Nikki's, all know Nikki by now. She's dealing with a court case with the Mallory book. She's helping her do a court case about a divorce by this dude who calls himself Mr. Immortal because he's actually immortal. He's trying to get out of giving all of his spouse's money by dying every time because he thinks that's the best way to do it. I'm going to be solely honest with you guys. I skipped a lot of the stuff with him. I just didn't want to see it. I watched the first scene. I skipped everything else that had to do with his problems. So, yeah, I really could sum up with this episode in like 5 minutes. It shouldn't be a long review. The only thing that happens or like interesting that happens is literally at the last 5, 10, 20 seconds of the episode. No Daredevil. No, just fluff. Pointlessness. Absolute pointlessness. Moving on. So Jen goes to the bridesmaid party or whatever in her new dress that the fashion guy made for her. It's a dress, they can fit her as Jen and fit her as She-Hulk, and everybody's like, oh yeah, Jen, you look so awesome. And then of course the bride is like jealous, like Lulu, the bride is like jealous, and she's like, I just want you to be Jen, and you're taking all the attention away from me. And she's overacting, because everybody overacts in this show except Jen. Sorry. This was, like I said last time, another emotional endeavor. Anyway, getting through this was difficult. Like, I literally felt like my mind was being violated by I could just feel my IQ levels just slowly dropping. It was grueling, to say the least. I mean, I don't know if you guys ever know what it's like to be traumatized. Many of you probably have. Traumatization is a real thing, and yeah, that really should have been the title of this episode, was Complete and Utter Traumatization. I was mortified. Anyway, the shenanigans continue. Jen is constantly being downplayed and picked on, in different ways. Like, she's as Jen, they make her iron clothes, and she makes her, because Lulu is insufferable because she's demanding and whatnot, so she's making her do everything. Jen do all the cleaning up and whatnot, and they're making her iron clothes. And they said that she would have a groomsman like the other bridesmaids do, and Lulu was like, his name is Jonathan, he's so great. And Jonathan's a dog who they say, he's like, oh, he leaks a little bit. And is he leaking? Of course, peeing. So I want you guys to just listen to me, listen to the words, what I'm telling you, what I'm describing this episode. Listen to these words, and I want you to review them in your head, create your own review in your mind for them, and just think about, ponder the complexity of the simple stupidity. There is no complexity. Just think about how stupid a whole episode, because she literally says at the beginning of the episode, one of her many fourth wall breaks, she literally is like, this is the impromptu wedding episode, because weddings are always so impromptu. They're always so they take place at the worst possible times, because we just teased Daredevil. Isn't that great? Isn't that funny? Ha ha ha. Isn't that fantastic? We don't need to see this. This doesn't need to be a thing. I mean, and maybe there is a good show here. Maybe there is some good character development buried beneath mounds and mounds of bullcrap. I am not kidding. I compare this show very much to Batman and Robin. I rewatched that movie recently, and before I didn't hate it when I was a kid, I would watch it and I had some nostalgia for it because Mr. Freeze is my favorite DC character. So I had some nostalgia for it. I rewatched it recently and I realized, man, this movie kind of sucks. It's a terrible movie. And I feel like there was a good movie there with Alfred's storyline and whatnot, but just buried upon mounds of bullcrap. That's what She-Hulk is. But it almost feels worse. Because at least I feel like there was parts of Batman and Robin that at least kind of they attempted to make a good something. I think they at least attempted in some way, in some scenes. This one, it's no, we're not even trying. This is just a terrible show, and we're proud of it. So that's what this is. Anyway, as all the other stuff is happening with the lawyer and Mr. Mortal, the stuff I didn't watch because I didn't care, Titania shows up at the bridesmaids' parties, and I don't even know how Lulu knew Titania, but of course Jen is she's only here to try to make me look bad in front of everybody and try to destroy me in the middle of the wedding or whatever, and Tanya is, of course, like, oh, you're being so rude and whatnot, and like she's, whatever. I will say the girl who does Titania does a good job of being this like prissy, snotty, valley girl. She's really tall too, but yeah, I think she does a good job of that. I mean, it does still feel like just overplayed. Like there's no actual, like, there's not any deeper levels to the characters. Just everybody's so surface level. So many of the characters are just one note, nothing deeper, just them. And she unfortunately is one of those. Not that the girl did a bad job at doing what the director told her to do, but it's just one of those things. It's like, boy, no, hardly any deep levels. And when they try to do something deep, like for instance, later scene where like they're all having a dance party and Jen gets really, really drunk. She had met this guy previously who was actually nice to her and who was one of the groomsmen, and he was nice to her, and he was actually like fully honest, very nice dude. Which I was at least glad to see that they portrayed him like that in the show. A dude like that. I was like, yeah, this is a nice guy, and he ends up like kind of liking her for her, like Jen, he doesn't really care about whether she's She-Hulk or not. He just kind of likes her, and I was like, okay, that's nice. And so it's like she's drunk and she's talking to him about how like everybody says She-Hulk is so great, but that day Jen just wanted to come to a wedding and just kind of be great herself. She just wanted to be Jen and be able to be, fine on her own without having to rely on the She-Hulk persona to be fine. Which I think is an interesting idea. I think that that's something that could have carried the whole show. They just haven't spent hardly any time on it. Like little snippets here and there, but it's either her doing stupid lawyer stuff or doing stupid dating stuff or doing stupid wedding stuff. And she has this scene where it's not even like it's so weird too, like with her drunkenness and whatnot. And it may come off better if the stuff surrounding it was good, but hardly anything surrounding it was good. So it just comes off as weird. And it's like, okay, she's sad that she wants to be Jen, but the world doesn't really want to let her be Jen. The world just wants to be She-Hulk. That's what that is. There could have been something good here. It really could have. There could have been success. There could have been honor, dignity, and justice. But no. Dashed upon the rocks. At least so far. I really don't see how they could turn it around at this point. I am literally praying. But anyway, she has the conversation with the dude. She keeps getting downplayed, I guess. I don't even know why. Like, clearly there were some things that the Lulu girl had to have, like, pre-planned to make her, to pick on her or whatever. I don't even know why. It didn't even seem like there was any, like, beef between them beforehand. All Jen said was just that they grew apart. And apparently Lulu just really wants to make her look bad, I guess, just because she's She-Hulk and she's so popular. And, so stuff happens. And right after that scene where she talks to the guy, she's throwing up because she drank too much. And then Titania sucker punches her right in the middle of throwing up because Titania wants revenge, because she literally said that in the most recent episode. She was like, "This is not over, hater." And she, wants revenge. I didn't expect we to get it this, soon, episode after, because I thought more important stuff was going to happen, but, silly me, that didn't happen. And so, we get the revenge story now, and what a riveting tale it is. She just kind of decides to try to punch her and attack her in front of, publicly destroy her. Because that'll help Titania's reputation if she's an influencer, the logic is not... There is no logic. If Titania's whole thing this whole time is she's an influencer, she's trying to make herself look good in front of everybody, all this, all that, and now she's going to publicly kill somebody, I guess for the world to see how powerful she is, not taking into account that she's gonna go to prison for ever. And so she, tries to destroy her Jen, and Jen's like, I can take you on without She-Hulk, and she tries and of course fails, and it's kind of it's played as comedic how she keeps fumbling over, like Titania's Jen just all she has to do is dodge, and Jen just falls because of how drunk she is. Jen is Titania just is like, I'm so bored, I just really want you to turn into She-Hulk so I can actually have a real fight. And Jen decides to she tries, but at first it doesn't work, I guess because she's taken one too many punches by Titania, and so she's not thinking clearly, and she's drunk. So I guess that's somehow like she's not going to be able to concentrate hard enough. Which, I mean, again, it's like it's not consistent at all because the Hulk, like Bruce Banner, it wasn't just anger that triggered the Hulk. It was intense stress. Like he would have to look on this watch every time, like he was like running too fast, like from the bad guys. Like his adrenaline levels was just rushing. Like he had to watch just adrenaline in general. So in Jennifer Walters' case, she's literally in the middle of a battle with some girl who's trying to kill her. So you'd figure drunk or not. I mean, I guess drunk, maybe her senses are impaired like everybody else's is, so maybe she just doesn't have a sense that she's in danger, like she did when the wrecking crew tried to attack her in the earlier episode. So I guess that's a passable option. But anyway, she tries it first, it fails. It's very similar to how Banner tried in Infinity War to turn in, but at first he wouldn't turn in. I thought there might be something interesting they would do there, but of course they didn't. And even with Titania, there was an interesting idea of like her essentially saying that, like, Jen tries to make a point that Titania is obsessed with her, and Titania is like, no, I'm not obsessed with you, but it just everybody else seems to be. And there's some genuine jealousy there by Titania, and I feel like some of the stuff she says, again, you could have had an interesting enough storyline here where it was like, if you had some actual character development, you could have made Titania a lot more of a compelling villain, and like had her have genuine motivations, like maybe She-Hulk is the thing that she wants to be but she could never be, kind of thing. That's an interesting idea. That's been played before with other superheroes and it's worked great. But no, we're just gonna keep goofing around. So Jen eventually finally turns into She-Hulk. They have a fight with her cousin doing DJ music, and I thought that scene was at least mildly amusing when they fought. But it literally lasts 2 seconds after Titania's teeth gets messed up and she grabs something and then just walks out. I award you no points, and may the Lord have mercy on your soul. That's what I have to say pretty much this whole episode. So Jen, she's She-Hulk, she's in front of everybody pulled out their phones to record the fight and whatnot, and everybody's flabbergasted, oh, they were fighting, and I know I keep saying and whatnot a lot, but sometimes I just don't know what else to say. And Lulu walks in, and she's like, at first she seems horrified at everything that happened, and she's like, but then she's like, oh, Jen, you're She-Hulk, this is great, and it's like, what exactly happened? I guess she was thrilled that She-Hulk saved her wedding? But with how snobby she was before, was she even care? I don't know. I guess she was thrilled, but now she seems perfectly fine with all the attention being on She-Hulk and not her. So, character just dropped on a dime. Just I'm doing this 1 second, I'm doing this the next, and it's not entertaining. It's not even entertaining. It's not even not even a fluff piece in the sense of hey, I'm being entertained right now. No, it's just fluff, and nothing to it. All superficial. None of it matters. None of it. It barely did anything for Jen's character other than give her a potential boyfriend. Because they're eating fries by the end of the episode and being friendly with each other. So maybe she has an actual boyfriend. His name is Josh, I think. Great. Awesome. Sure. Then we get to the actual meaningful part of the episode where Nikki and Mallory are kind of reviewing the lawyer experience they just went through. And they're looking on YouTube or whatever at the guy who he jumped out of, at the Mr. Immortal guy who jumped out of a window before and was perfectly fine. And they're looking on YouTube and they see this video about She-Hulk and Nikki clicks on it, but it's it's blocked, and you need a certain like account with this. I forget what the online club or whatever is called, like Intelligentsia or something. I probably butchered the name. It ends up being filled with what other people would call these hate messages for She-Hulk, and all of those things that were on the site. Not like obviously not the death threats or anything like that, but like the memes and whatnot. I have a feeling those are real, like real things that the real people made, and it's one of those things that I'm like, so many of them I feel like Marvel doesn't understand. Like they're trying to post this as if it's the most evil thing ever, and some of it is. Obviously, the death threats are terrible. Like some of the meme stuff though is like there are some valid points being made, like from fans about who aren't very happy with the show. And they did the same thing with episode 2, I think, the beginning of that one. All the comments that the dudes and different comments that are being made, like there's some valid criticism here. But Marvel doesn't perceive it as that. Marvel just perceives it as, evil. Anyway, she's looking through, and then she realizes there are death threats, and Nikki's like, we have to tell Jen. But Mallory says no, that Jen shouldn't have that on her mind, and that shouldn't be, like, worrying her or anything. But Nikki puts in a voicemail for Jen to know anyway. And what's interesting is that I did feel like the way, because they do this in a lot of shows and movies where, like, Nikki is talking in her car by herself, like, saying the voicemail and sending it to her because Jen's not answering the phone. And I was fully expecting there to be like a car wreck or like somebody was going to kidnap Nikki as, she was driving and about to send the voicemail to Jen or had just sent it. But no, because apparently I guess that would be too dramatic. Maybe they have other plans, I don't know. Anyway, they get cut to Jen eating fries with her newfound boyfriend, I guess. And then it cuts to somebody looking on a computer who can watch them, who has a camera view of them, which I don't know what that's about, how somebody can spy on them, I guess. I don't know if he has set up a camera or how he's able to monitor her life, but apparently he can. Or I guess one of these scientists can, because clearly he's one of the scientists. And then he has all this data on his computer filled with like examining She-Hulk's DNA. One of the things on the computer says gamma range. I guess they're trying to figure out how much gamma is in her blood and how to best to use it. Because there was like at the very beginning of the episode, the recap included the Wrecking Crew attacking her and the guy trying to poke the needle in her, and Hulk talking about Jen's blood. That also was included in the recap. So I was thinking, hey, is a good part of this episode going to be about that and like the blood stuff and like who's the mystery boss? No, it was about a stupid wedding. Whatever. Anyway, this last part was in last 20 seconds. Anyway, he's got all this data. And then he gets up and he's like, he has that needle that was crushed by Thunderball. When the Wrecking Crew tried to attack She-Hulk, he has the same needle that was crushed that he tried to get in her to get her blood, but that it didn't work because of the Hulk skin. But he has this new needle with him that he puts in this case that has like this radioactive symbol on the case. And so all that is incredibly interesting. Also, I think even more interesting bit is that when he's looking on the computer, he gets this email from what's called the Hulk, hashtag Hulk King, HULKKING, like all one word, and because it's the same thing that was on the blocked message when Nikki tried to click on that YouTube video. It said Hulk King, and it had a picture of the Hulk with like a crown on it, and it was very interesting. And the message that the scientist guy got that from the Hulk King said, is the next phase of the plan in place? So clearly that's the boss. They're trying to replicate She-Hulk's blood for the Gamma, and they have some sort of plan in motion, which I have a feeling that hopefully Daredevil will be in the next episode. That will tie into him, hopefully. Again, this last 20 seconds gave me very strong vibes of like, it seems, especially with what they announced with Captain America New World Order, like I mentioned in my D23 video, this has to be the leader. This has to be. The fact that it's the Hulk King, this guy seems to be obsessed with Hulks. They're trying to replicate her blood, which is what Samuel Stearns had stores of, like tons of Bruce Banner's blood in the Edward Norton Hulk movie, which was likely confiscated. So clearly, I feel like this is a direct thing. Like this has got to be the leader, which would be great. I would love it if it was the leader, if they treated him right. So that's the ending of the episode. No post-credit scene. Again, praise the Lord. I think they're better off without him, at least so far with the track record of the previous post-credit scenes. Maybe there'll be some important ones in the future. So, thank you guys for watching my review. I was, like I said, completely mortified by most of this episode, and but there's always hope that it'll get better, and I will always try to have some level of optimism. So, thank you guys for watching. I hope you have a very blessed day. May the Lord be with you, may the Force be with you, and goodbye.